Hello everyone. So finally we have come to the final part of this lumbar series. It has been a very nice teaching you all. So today's final topic, pathomechanics. So pathomechanics, as the name says, anything wrong in the mechanics of the structure results in dysfunction, disease, pathology, or whatever. So what are the common pathomechanics in lumbar spine? The most common pathomechanics in lumbar spine is intervertebral disc prolapse. Other names commonly it is called disc bulge, disc herniation. Many words are there, but this is the commonly used term IVDP. Short IVDP. So this intervertebral disc prolapse has the stages: disc protrusion, or bulge. Next stage is disc extrusion, and next stage is disc sequestration. So as you know that disc prolapse, suppose our day-to-day activities mostly involves bending, flexion. Most of our activities happen in flexion. So what is happening is there is most of the time the disc bulges posteriorly, and as the time goes by it will result in disc bulge. Anterior disc prolapse is less common, almost non-existent, or maybe a few here and there, but most common disc prolapse is posterolateral disc prolapse. So the reason how this disc prolapse happens, two reasons, two ways. One is sudden and the other one is gradual. Gradual is the one which you see due to age, as I told you, as we do our day-to-day activities in flexion and as we age, there is a gradual moving of the disc posteriorly. This is a gradual, it will take years and years to give this disc prolapse, and this is commonly seen in people who do this flexion activities and who are having bad posture. Sitting in a chair, sedentary life is the most common example of this gradual disc prolapse. Next example, sudden, like it could be young, the person could be young, and probably one example I will give you. Suppose a person decides to go to the gym, and suddenly he will, first day itself, without any precautions, he will start to lift heavy weights. So what happens, sudden unaccustomed heavy weightlifting will result in sudden disc bulge. So that these are the two ways how the disc prolapse happens, sudden and gradual. So what are the types of disc bulge? The normal, you know the disc, this is nucleus pulposus and annulus fibrosus. This is the normal one. So in disc first stage, disc protrusion or disc bulge, what happens? There is simple bulging of the disc. The nucleus pulposus I will denote with the help of a red color. Yeah, this is disc protrusion. What is happening here? Just little amount of bulge you can see in the annulus fibrosus. There is little giving away of the annulus fibrosus, resulting in the bulging of the nucleus pulposus outwards. But this is not open, this is closed. It will look bulged, but this doesn't come out. In the next stage, what happens? Just to give you a, this is the disc, nucleus pulposus, normal. This is the first stage. Second stage, what happens? Disc extrusion. In this disc extrusion, the nucleus pulposus breaks this annulus fibrosus fibers and comes out of the disc. It breaks this annulus fibrosus and comes out, but it is intact. The disc is in one piece. The nucleus pulposus is in one piece, but it comes out, extrusion. Next stage, disc sequestration. In this, a part of nucleus pulposus comes out of the main part. This is called as sequestration. Yeah, these are the stages of disc bulge. How it happens, I have told you. The reason is either sudden or gradual. It is because of your flexion bending activities. Does it mean you should stop bending? No, absolutely not. Bending is very important for your healthy, to make your muscles strong. But the thing is, you have to maintain proper posture, proper mechanics, healthy, active life. This will help you in preventing this pathomechanics. Treatment, you have your surgical treatment, and other physiotherapy is the most important thing to correct this posture, extension exercises and all, which you might learn in your next treatment classes. Yeah, for now this much is enough for you. So next we will go to next pathomechanics. So I told you what will happen when you bend. So now what will happen when you extend? So when you do extension, what might happen? Lumbar. You can see it everywhere, not just lumbar. So I will better write it as spinal canal stenosis. So what is this spinal canal stenosis? This results in disc collapse, and this results in spinal canal stenosis. What is spinal canal stenosis? As you can see, in this there is so much space for the spinal cord. You know, the spinal cord passes through this. There is so much space, but in extension this space is reduced. So this space is reduced, giving very little room for the spinal cord, the cauda equina, to move around. This results in pain and the neural symptoms. This leads to spinal canal stenosis. So again, flexion is bad, extension is bad. Is not like that. You have to maintain your back in a healthy way. This is the, I'm telling you, the extreme cases of flexion and extension. So treatment, again simple: flexion treatment. Flexion exercises are the treatment for spinal canal stenosis. Next we will next pathomechanics what you get is, most common is lumbar spondylosis. And if you want to keep it specific to facet joint syndrome. So lumbar spondylosis is a normal, as we age. It's a degenerative condition which every joint, not just the lumbar, every joint undergoes due to age. So it's a age related degenerative process. For some people it might be early, and for some people it might be late. So there is no fixed age that this starts. It can either be early or late. So what happens in lumbar spondylosis? The disc water content gets reduced, so the spacing is reduced. There is degeneration of the bone, and it could be bone to bone touching. It could be like osteophyte formation. Osteophyte formation is the calcified parts of the bone coming out. Osteophyte formation. This joint and the degeneration of this joint, this results in lumbar spondylosis. Facet joint syndrome, when we talk about only the facet joint, same age related degenerative process affecting the facet is nothing but the facet joint syndrome. So this results in pain and stiffness. This, how to delay this lumbar spondylosis? Just maintain good exercises, be healthy, and it's a normal process which everybody has to have. Next, pathomechanics. Radiculopathy. Radiculopathy. So as I told you, it is related to the first two conditions only. See what is happening in the first condition, there is a disc prolapse. So what this disc prolapse may impinge on the nerves. You know that nerves comes out of this side, and this side nerves comes out. So the disc impinging on the nerves, and the nerve, you know, you have various nerves coming out. Affecting the nerve gives you the lumbar radiculopathy. Or in case of spinal canal stenosis, you know, there is less space, and this less space will impinge on the nerves coming out, giving you the nerve symptoms. That is again lumbar radiculopathy. So anything affecting the nerve will give you radiculopathy, radicular pain. That means wherever the nerve goes, its motor system will be affected, or sensory system can be affected. Again, could be resulting in pain also. Next you have, what else you will see in lumbar? Spondylolisthesis. So lumbar spondylolisthesis, you have this lumbar spine. You know this lumbar is curved. So excessive stress on this will result in breaking up of this pars interarticularis, right? So once this pars interarticularis breaks both the sides, this comes, see now it is blocking, but suppose if this breaks, what will happen? This will come forward. So the forward slipping of the vertebrae above results in lumbar spondylolisthesis. Most common is L5S1, but you can see it anywhere, but the most common is this. So what is it? Just the forward slipping of the above vertebra on the below vertebra, resulting in this. 4 grades: grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4. Grade 1 is it comes out 25%, grade 2 is it comes out 25 to 50%, grade 3 50 to 75, and grade 4 100%. This is grade 4 100%. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If the lumbosacral, I have discussed about lumbosacral angle. If there is more lumbosacral angle, since you are standing, there is more chance of the stress on this part, giving you lumbar spondylolisthesis. So thank you for learning and keep learning. Thank you.